Welcome into another episode of the Back in Time podcast. I am Kyle. He's JD. JD, how you feeling tonight, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited that we're jumping into this. We may or may not have recorded the full episode before the teaser trailer, but we're live and here the hell we go.
Live and in living color, man. I'm excited about the episode this month. You know, we did pre-record it. I'm going on a little vacay, so we're moving some things around, but I think it turned out really, really good, and I'm excited for everybody to hear the episode. But real quick, if you're new to the podcast or haven't listened to us before here on YouTube, make sure you throw us a subscribe. If you want to hear something for us to cover, leave it in the comments. If we've already covered it before, I'll hook you up with the link. We'll make it nice and easy. And JD, the reason we're here, man, The People Under the Stairs, 1991, the first movie that we're covering in our underrated series. I don't know why I said it like that, but the underrated, like I'm a sports announcer, and we'll be right back after the break. What's your first memory of The People Under the Stairs? When do you remember seeing this for the first time as a young lad?
I was definitely a young lad. I was probably way too young to understand this movie, what the hell was going on, and to appreciate just how fine a glass of wine it is.
Yeah, guessing. What do you think? What put an age on it for me?
7.
7 years old. Wow. That movie would have freaked me out at 7 years old. I don't know how I avoided this movie all this time. I talked about this on the full episode. I swore up and down I had watched this movie before, but when I rewatched it last week, I'm pretty sure that was the first time I saw it. So, yeah, I'm 36 years old, so that was the first time I saw it, and it's such a fun movie, man. It's such a good movie. I'm so glad that I saw it when I did, because I think it would have scarred me at 7. But now I kind of laughed at things, and I'm like, oh, this is wildly inappropriate. Why is he wearing all leather? I just don't get it. But the sets are so cool, and yeah, I mean, the Sandlot kid just knocks it out of the park. Cake eater.
Yeah, no, and for what it's worth, I saw this long before I ever saw Twin Peaks, which I know we discussed in the full episode a little bit. And so had I known some of the actor choices and some of what they were doing and accomplishing with what Wes Craven decided to do, it's just, and I wouldn't have understood it at the ripe old age of 7.
Right. Okay. Well, let's get into the trailer here, and let's watch this for the very first time and give our reaction on the other side. Here we go.
In every neighborhood, there is one house that adults whisper about and children cross the street to avoid. Now, Wes Craven, creator of A Nightmare on Elm Street, takes you inside.
Something's in there.
We gotta get out of here, Leroy.
All sorts of rumors about what goes on in that house. The police never took it serious.
She's been feeding that thing between the walls again.
Very, very tense about this.
What goes on in this house is a sin. But what goes on under the stairs is a nightmare. Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs.
There you have it, man. First reaction right off the cusp. What do you think?
I have no complaints. I think they do a great job of just pushing what a solid horror movie without giving too much away. Obviously, the title, there's people under the stairs. So,
right.
Spoiler alert. Oh, there's people there, and there are, but Chris Walken is not in this movie.
No, he sure isn't. I think the trailer is really good. It's straightforward. It's not really lengthy. I don't think it tries to do anything that it shouldn't be doing. They're heavily promoting Wes Craven and leaning on that audience that he's built with Nightmare and the whole franchise. And yeah, I would have watched this if this came out today. I'd be like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, I'm going to take that one step further. And like, I love the initial sort of narration about there's one house on every block that the parents talk about. Because there is.
Right.
Growing up, there was always the haunted house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had one at the end of our street. It was like, don't go to the house, don't knock on the door, leave them alone. If they stop you in the street, run the other way. I might have made that last part up, but I mean, for the most part, pretty much true.
Is that still a thing?
I don't think it is, man. There's nobody in my neighborhood that I'm like, oh, you can stay away from this one.
Well, you just stay away from it.
Right. Oh gosh.
Slippery Pete.
Oh yeah, old Slick Pete. But no, I don't think. Maybe audience, let us know. I mean, if that's still a thing in your neighborhood, I would definitely love to hear it. But I mean, at least from my side of the country here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, we don't really deal with that.
Yeah, and to be let's throw the chips out on the table. And I know we talk about this a lot more in the full episode, but the idea and the concept of gentrification plays a role in that, because you and I were both in new build neighborhoods.
Right.
So how the hell is there a haunted house?
Can I be honest?
Yes.
If there's kids in your neighborhood, they're definitely a little afraid of you if you walk out the house looking like the dad from Teen Wolf.
Nicest thing you've ever fucking said to me. Thank you.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Yeah, I did get it. Like, if you'll notice, it's not as much as it used to be. I got it trimmed up.
You're always changing. I mean, if we go through our episodes, it's like wild hair, fresh cut, clean hair, white hair, long hair, short hair, big beard, no beard. It's just mustache. You're always changing. I love it. Never the same.
I have to stay away from the feds. The federales are after me. That's why I don't have fingertips.
You look like you're constantly changing identity. It's true. Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's get to some box office numbers here. The People Under the Stairs debuted November 1st, 1991. So right after Halloween. Feels like they kind of missed the boat a little bit already. The runtime on this movie, 1 hour, 42 minutes. The budget, $6 million. It's released by Universal Pictures, so they did have big backing and good distribution there. They would go on to be number one at the box office in week number one, bringing in $6.9 million. And then in week two, it would drop just one spot, bringing another $5.6 million over the weekend, and their 10-day total to $12.5 million. So more than doubling their budget in the first 10 days. JD, any surprise here?
I guess it's not a surprise, just like excitement that they did what they did and doubled their investment in that first 10 days. I highly doubt there was schoolyard effect in play.
Okay. And I am happy to report you are incorrect, sir. Schoolyard effect was in play. They would stay in the top 10 for 6 weeks. Surprisingly, they only kept the movie in theaters for 6 weeks, and then they pulled it. But they did go, they ranked first, second, third, fourth, fifth, first, second, fourth, seventh, ninth, and 10th. was their ranking. So it did kind of drop slowly. But I mean, for the 3 weeks that they had it in 1,800 screens, top 5 movie all 3 weeks.
That excites me so much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fully torqued. Again, I didn't think that they would have had those legs. I would have thought this movie to be more of a cult classic labeling.
Right. Yeah, and I think, by the time they get to December, it's like, well, it's Christmas season. People aren't really going to the movies anymore for horror movies. It's more your feel-good movies. So, we'll take a look at what came out. But overall, People Under Stairs went on to gross $24,204,154 domestically in the U.S. and another $7.1 million with international, bringing their worldwide total to $31,347,154. So not bad on a $6 million, pretty low budget horror flick.
And conversely, the $6 million man, what the hell has he done for us?
Nothing.
Get out of here.
Low life. So
slap that ass.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about what was in movie theaters November 1st of 1991. What was the competition like? Well, not a lot of competition. Obviously, People Under Stairs was number 1. Curly Sue was number 2.
I remember Curly Sue.
Highlander 2, The Quickening, which also debuted that week, was the number 3 movie. Billy Bathgate was number 4. That also debuted that week, a Walt Disney Studios motion picture. Number 5, Little Man Tate. Number 6, House Party 2. Number 7, Other People's Money. Number 8, Frankie and Johnny. Number 9, The Fisher King. And number 10, The Butcher's Wife. So, yeah, again, if you could get into the DeLorean, JD, and go back to November 1st, would you skip it and pick another week? Anything you like there?
I would pick. It's a tough one. I would definitely choose The People Under the Stairs in theaters with some popcorn, some cherry cola, maybe some little Thin Mints underneath my sole of my shoes. House Party 2, I was a massive fan of that franchise. Kid and Play was very influential on my childhood and the way that I wore my clothes and my hair. I was like, hey guys, I'm Kid and Play. Fisher King was a movie that I didn't see until much later in my life, but props to that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, not a lot of standouts for me. Eventually, I think we might get into House Party 1.
I would love that.
I think that would be a good movie to eventually tackle. We'll see. Let's take a look a little further down the road, see what might have kind of pushed it out of theaters here. You get All I Want for Christmas the next weekend, Cape Fear the weekend after that.
Ooh,
here it is. Here's the feel-good movies that popped in the theaters that definitely pushed them out. The Addams Family debuts, My Girl, and American Tail, Feifel Goes West.
Oh, I love Feifel.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, it's Christmas season. Let's go ahead and get this thing to Blockbuster as quick as we can.
Let's get those people under the stairs and bury their asses.
And then from there, we're just 2 weeks away from Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country, and Hook debuting in theaters.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't covered Hook yet. It might surprise you to hear what their opening weekend ranking was. I think it might surprise you.
I would be surprised. Oh, we'll save it. Let's save it. Table it.
We'll save it.
Future episode.
Okay, cool. Here we go. So yeah, that's the box office numbers. Let's get to the critic response to the movie, JD. How do you think the critics received The People Under the Stairs, the latest from the great Wes Craven?
So we'll talk about this a lot in the full episode, and I don't want to prematurely blow my load on whatsoever.
Oh God.
No, I think again, we talk about this. We've got a great guest who has great commentary about some of this, but this movie is so before its time.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about some issues that I don't think people were talking about in 1991. I don't think it was issues, social commentary, like shit that I don't even think people realized was a problem. And Wes Craven nailed it. And I feel that the critics on Rotten Tomatoes probably responded higher than the viewers initially. But I feel like the viewers probably come in droves after.
Okay.
Because again, I always thought of this as a cult classic movie. Like I was in a work meeting and 20, 30 people were like, hey, JD, what's a movie that we should watch? And I said, People Under the Stairs. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that movie. That movie is just so effing great. Again, these are older white people, so, take that as you will.
Right.
All of this to say, I feel critics at 60 and audience at 70.
You are you're on the right track. You're very, very close.
I always am.
And if our audience is like, why are they guessing numbers? This is what we do. I put JD on the spot. He tries to do his best guess of how people responded to a movie 31 years ago. And he's pretty close. He has 68% on the tomato meter, 58% from the audience, almost completely flip-flopped.
Huh. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So you were right. You're very close. So let's hear from a couple of the big critics at the time. So Vincent Canby of the New York Times said, though the new movie has its share of blood and gore, it's mostly creepy in considering the bizarre circumstances. Surprisingly funny. 3.5 out of 5 stars. What do you think about that review?
We talk a lot in the full review. We touch on the comedy a little bit, which for me, I think it's funny. I just never have ever thought of this movie as a comedy, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a movie can be funny, but fucked up.
Right.
Rob Zombie. I laugh.
Tutti fucking fruity.
Oh my gosh. I laugh at what he does in the movies when people are getting fucking annihilated.
Right.
And it's not a comedy. And to me, I feel like this is in that vein, not a dark comedy. So I'm a little kind of surprised that an early critic would respond as such.
Okay. That's a fair point. Mallory Baumgarten of the Austin Chronicle also was positive, saying, while People Under the Stairs may leave some horror fans unsatisfied and other detractors repulsed, it ought to satisfy those viewers who appreciate a thoughtful and visceral movie entertainment. 3 out of 5. Good, not great.
I feel like she wanted to give it a 4.
Right. Yeah, we'll give her that. Here's one negative one for you. Richard Harrington of the Washington Post said Craven has been directing downhill since his terror of The Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes and the original Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's hardly surprising that he hits bottom with People Under the Stairs. Here's a man that doesn't get it, JD. He's lost his glasses. He's getting serious here.
Yeah, he clearly does not get it. And again, that's why when I say I feel like this movie is before its time.
Mm-hmm.
People weren't talking about the shit in LA. The crap that, what do they call a mother and father or whatever their name is, are. What are their names?
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot like that. I haven't watched the movie in a week now, man.
It doesn't matter.
Here they are. It's daddy and mommy.
Daddy and mommy. Okay.
Yeah.
What they're doing to the sons and just leeching them for that gentrification. And again, I'm not coming at this from a political standpoint because I don't give a damn. But Wes Craven was talking about it long before Jordan Peele was.
Well, that's easy for you to say. You ride. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Well, no, I agree with what you're saying. We get into this a lot on that episode, our full movie retrospective of the People Under the Stairs. We do get into where we want to see this going next. We definitely talk some Jordan Peele, so we'll save that for the full episode. But I mean, ultimately, I'm okay with the response. I didn't expect it to be like a 95%. I think almost 70 is pretty solid for this movie. I'm a little shocked that the audience isn't higher, knowing that this movie has aged well. It's kind of a cult classic, so I thought those numbers would rise over time. But it is what it is, man. I guess last question, and we'll put a bow on this episode here. What do you look forward to most when we get on the full episode? And what are you hoping that we kind of jump into?
I love the dynamic between Leroy, Fool, and Sean Whalen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always stuck out to me. Because there's the people under the stairs. They're under the stairs. And then there's Sean Whalen in the wall.
Right.
And then you got Leroy and Fool that are robbing the rich white family.
Mm-hmm.
Who own it's so ironic. It's like a series of misfortunate events. I don't know. I love it. I love it. I've always loved this movie. And I've probably only seen it 4 times in my life. And every time I've watched it, you know, as a child, in high school, in college, and now as an adult, that's how it's pronounced.
Adult, yeah.
Mm. You drink sweet tea without, you know,
sweet tartan ass.
I just am looking forward to how I respond as a gentleman in my 30s.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot. I know we don't really get into this on the episode that we recorded, but this movie did take home a couple of awards. It took home a Brussels International Fantastic Film Festival Award for audience, and then won the special jury award from the Fantastic Film Festival. Wes Craven won both of those. And then Brandon Adams, Cake Eater, was nominated for a Saturn for Best Performance by a Younger Actor. So there's really good stuff in this movie, and we talk about a lot of that on the full episode. So that's going to drop early. I would say probably early Friday morning is the plan, if not Friday morning, on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that, guys. And then we'll have our April kickoff show coming out right at the beginning of the month, followed by a couple retro episodes as I take a little time in the sun and relax out in Florida. So in the meantime, follow us on social media. We're at Back in Time Pod on the Facebook and Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're on Facebook at Back in Time Podcast. And then if you have any questions or you want to be part of the show or give us some recommendation, you can always DM us on any of the platforms, or you can email us at backintimepodcast@gmail.com. But for JD and myself, this is another episode of the Back in Time Podcast, and thanks for listening. See ya.
Slap.